Let me tell you an incredible story about Lynda Carter, the star who brought Wonder Woman to life in a way that left fans completely mesmerized. Imagine growing up in Phoenix, Arizona in the 1950s, surrounded by desert beauty and fueled by big dreams and a passion for performing. Lynda Carter, born Lynda Jean Cordova Carter on July 24, 1951, had that spark from an early age. Her father, Colby Carter, traced his roots back to English and Scots-Irish ancestry, while her mother, Juana Cordova, often referred to as Juanita, brought a proud heritage of Mexican, Spanish, and French descent. They created a loving, supportive household for Lynda and her siblings, Vincent and Pamela. From the time she was 5 years old, Lynda already showed signs of a natural performer. In fact, at that tender age, she made her very first appearance on television in Lou King's talent show. Imagine a small girl standing in front of the cameras, excited yet determined to show the world what she could do. That was Lynda, always ready to step forward and embrace the spotlight. During her middle school and high school years, she focused on music, performing with a band called Just Us. She found great joy in singing and discovered she loved being on stage. Even in those teenage days, she had an undeniable star quality, though no one could predict just how far that star would rise. After graduation, she briefly attended Arizona State University, but soon realized that music and performance were her real callings. She left the university environment behind, joined a band called the Garfin Gathering, and toured, performing music that spanned pop, rock, and even some soulful ballads. Lynda's voice had a warm, resonant quality that drew people in, and although it seemed that singing would be her primary focus, fate was leading her toward an unexpected but life-changing path in acting. In 1972, Lynda saw an announcement for the Miss World USA competition, and on a whim, she decided to give it a shot. At the time, she wasn't fully convinced of her potential to stand out in such a high-profile pageant. Yet her unique blend of natural charm, statuesque beauty, and an undercurrent of confidence won her the crown. Representing Arizona, she went on to capture not only the title of Miss World USA, but also national attention. Suddenly, her name was in newspapers and magazines across the country, and people were eager to see what this poised young woman would do next. The exposure from the pageant was invaluable. It introduced Lynda Carter to an audience far beyond Arizona and opened doors in the entertainment industry that might otherwise have stayed closed. With the Miss World USA crown as her new calling card, she decided to relocate to Los Angeles, where she set her sights on serious acting opportunities. Life in LA wasn't all glitz and glamour. She found herself auditioning for parts, only to be turned down repeatedly, and her finances began to dwindle. She's often spoken about how close she was to packing up and going home, feeling that perhaps her timing or her talent just wasn't lining up with Hollywood's demands. But then fate intervened in the form of a casting call for a television project based on the DC Comics superhero Wonder Woman, also known as Princess Diana of Themyscira or Diana Prince. Initially, the role had been offered to actress Joanna Cassidy, but when that fell through, the opportunity went back on the table. Lynda, nearly broke by this point, auditioned. There was something in her performance, maybe an unguarded sincerity or the inherent warmth she radiated, that made the producers realize they had found the perfect Wonder Woman. She was strong, graceful, endearing, and represented an ideal that the comic book character stood for: compassion, bravery, and a sense of justice that went beyond the ordinary. In the fall of 1975, audiences were introduced to Lynda Carter as Wonder Woman, and in a single season she captured hearts everywhere. The series itself ran for 3 seasons, jumping from ABC to CBS, and Lynda's portrayal became the definitive live-action Wonder Woman for decades to come. Fans were drawn not just to her beauty or her iconic red, white, and blue costume, but also to her genuine portrayal of a superhero who truly cared about humanity. Lynda didn't play Diana Prince as a distant goddess. She gave her a warmth and humility that made viewers connect with her on a human level. She became an international star, earning praise from critics and fans alike for breathing life into one of DC's most beloved characters. And though the production budget wasn't huge by modern standards, the show's style, combined with Lynda's magnetic presence, turned Wonder Woman into a cultural phenomenon. Today, if you talk about Wonder Woman in the context of classic TV, Lynda Carter's name inevitably comes up as the standard by which other portrayals are judged. When the series ended in 1979, many people wondered what would be next for Lynda Carter. Some predicted she would be forever typecast as Diana Prince, while others speculated that her career might falter without that iconic role. But Lynda had a multifaceted talent, and she wasn't content to be defined by just one success. She revisited her music, an area that remained close to her heart, releasing her first album, Portrait, in the late 1970s, demonstrating her soulful style. Critics might have debated her vocal range or her decision to step back into music after being such a popular television icon, but she held firm. She was determined to prove that she was more than just a TV star in a superhero suit. Over the years, she refined her musical craft and performed in a variety of venues. Much later, in 2009, she released At Last, an album that showcased not only her vocal maturity, but also her passion for jazz standards. That album even found a place on the Billboard jazz charts, a testament to her genuine musical talent and the effort she put into developing her craft. In parallel with her continued musical pursuits, Lynda also continued to act. She made special appearances on television programs and took on roles in series like Partners in Crime and Mike Hammer. During the 1980s and 1990s, she starred in TV specials and took on guest starring parts, some comedic and some dramatic, continually expanding her range. Though none of these roles reached the same cultural impact as Wonder Woman, Lynda Carter's face and voice continued to be recognized. She was also in demand for commercials and even recorded promotional jingles. Meanwhile, the Wonder Woman fan base never forgot her. Even decades after the final episode aired, fans at conventions and special events would clamor for autographs, photographs, or just a moment to tell her how much her portrayal meant to them. In the 2000s, Lynda Carter experienced a kind of renaissance in popular culture. She was cast in films like Sky High, 2005, where she played Principal Powers, a playful nod to her superhero history, and the Dukes of Hazzard movie that same year. While these were more lighthearted roles, they put her back in front of a broad audience, reminding longtime fans of her comedic timing and introducing her to a younger generation who might only have heard of that woman who used to play Wonder Woman. She also continued to tackle music through concerts and live performances at notable venues like the Kennedy Center. In time, her stage presence became more polished, and she brought storytelling elements into her shows, sharing bits of personal history and anecdotes about her time in Hollywood, as well as experiences from her early career. All of this helped her transition gracefully from the beloved 1970s icon to a more modern star who could hold her own on stage or screen. An interesting aspect of Lynda Carter's career emerged in the realm of video games. Bethesda Game Studios, known for huge open-world titles like the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series, brought her on board to do voiceover work for characters in their games. Her first foray into this came with titles in the Elder Scrolls series, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, in which she voiced multiple characters, often strong-willed female figures. While gamers might not have realized right away that the voice behind some of their favorite characters belonged to the legendary Wonder Woman, word soon spread, and the novelty of having Lynda Carter in a fantasy role gained her a new subset of fans. Not only did she lend her voice, but she also contributed musically. In Fallout 4, released in 2015, she wrote and recorded several songs that appear in the game's fictional radio stations. This unique involvement bridged the gap between her love for music and her on-screen legacy, demonstrating her adaptability and willingness to experiment with creative mediums. But what really happened to Lynda Carter on a personal level? For all her public achievements, she faced private struggles. She was first married to talent agent Ron Samuels in 1977, a relationship that lasted until 1982. While the details of that marriage are personal, Lynda has hinted that, in her younger years, she sometimes felt alone or misunderstood despite being surrounded by Hollywood's bright lights. Eventually, in 1984, she found lasting happiness when she married attorney Robert Altman. Their partnership grew strong over time, and they had 2 children together, James and Jessica. She has described motherhood as one of the most fulfilling parts of her life, a chance to step away from the incessant demands of show business and focus on something profoundly nurturing. She wanted to show her children that their mother was not just a superhero on TV, but a real human being who could love, support, and learn just like anyone else. However, life wasn't entirely smooth. Through the 1980s and 1990s, Lynda Carter secretly wrestled with alcoholism. In interviews given in later years, she has spoken openly about her battle, explaining how she tried to keep it hidden while maintaining an outward image of strength and glamour. In 1998, she made the decision to go through rehab, facing her addiction head-on. It was a turning point, a moment of clarity where she realized she needed help and that it was okay to be vulnerable. She has credited her family's love and her own spiritual grounding for helping her stay on the path to recovery. Today, she often speaks publicly about her experiences, aiming to reduce stigma and encourage those struggling with similar issues to reach out for assistance. In the mid to late 2000s, she made cameo appearances that delighted fans of her classic Wonder Woman portrayal. She had a recurring role on the TV series Smallville, portraying Moira Sullivan, the mother of fan-favorite character Chloe Sullivan. Later on, she showed up in the DC Universe again by playing President Olivia Marsden on the CW series Supergirl, proving once more that her ties to superhero lore ran deep and that fans still adored seeing her associated with DC's legacy. In a moment that felt like pure cinematic poetry, she had a cameo appearance in Wonder Woman 1984-2020 as Asteria, a legendary Amazon warrior. The significance of that scene, coming decades after her original portrayal of Wonder Woman, was a testament to her enduring status as part of the Wonder Woman legacy. Gal Gadot might now embody the character on the big screen, but Lynda Carter remains the timeless face that first brought Diana Prince to television screens everywhere. As she evolved from actress to singer, from mother to advocate, Lynda also embraced philanthropic work. Over the years, she has supported various charities, including those focused on women's health, children's causes, and LGBT rights. She has participated in awareness campaigns and occasionally spoken at events that promote tolerance, equality, and empathy. Fans at these events aren't just starstruck. They often thank her for the positivity and empowerment she's spread through her portrayal of Wonder Woman and through her personal example of overcoming adversity. She has said in interviews that part of what drives her philanthropic efforts is the belief that we all have a little bit of wonder inside us, a capacity for caring that can be used to uplift others. When people ask, what really happened to Lynda Carter? The answer is not a simple one-liner about an actress who disappeared or become irrelevant. Rather, it is a narrative of continued growth, self-discovery, and resilience. After Wonder Woman concluded, Lynda didn't vanish into obscurity. She navigated multiple avenues in entertainment, triumphed over personal battles, and ultimately emerged as a more complex and inspiring figure than the public ever imagined. The very traits that made her a perfect fit for Wonder Woman, the earnestness, the warmth, and the unwavering sense of justice, are the same traits that have guided her in life off-screen. She has advocated for those who struggle with addiction, championed cultural diversity, and remained vocal about the importance of kindness and empathy. Unlike many celebrities who might fade after their signature role, she found ways to reinvigorate her career, whether it was by returning to music, embracing comedic and cameo roles in film and TV, or branching out into video game voice work. Furthermore, she's consistently revisited her passion for live music, performing jazz-inspired shows at some of the country's most prestigious venues. Jazz clubs and concert halls like Feinstein's and Jazz at Lincoln Center have welcomed her onto their stages, allowing her to connect intimately with audiences through the universal language of music. In these performances, she often shares personal stories, some humorous, some heartfelt, about her journey through fame, family, and finding her own voice. This candid approach endeared her to longtime fans who followed her from her Wonder Woman days, and to new fans discovering her musical side for the first time. She has openly acknowledged the nostalgia factor that brings people in the door, but she also delights in the fact that many walk away impressed by her genuine vocal ability and warm stage persona. For Lynda Carter, performing, whether on stage or screen, has always been an opportunity to spread positivity. She likes to evoke emotion, to tell a story through her voice, be it in a scripted line or a song lyric. Perhaps that's why her portrayal of Wonder Woman remains so iconic. Yes, the costume was memorable and the theme song was catchy, but behind it all was an actress who truly believed in the goodness of the character she was portraying. She believed in compassion and bravery, and that sense of authenticity came through in every spin and every bullet-deflecting moment. Decades later, new generations see vintage clips of her and are struck by how genuine she seems, even in a role that, on paper, might have easily become campy or one-dimensional. In the entertainment world, it's not uncommon for stars to have a meteoric rise and then fade quickly. Lynda Carter managed to take a beloved, larger-than-life role and parlay it into a lifelong career rooted in creativity and personal growth. She balanced her life as a wife and mother, supporting her husband Robert Altman's career in law and later in banking, while also ensuring that her children grew up with a sense of normalcy. She has shared in interviews how important it was for her to be present in her children's lives, attending school events and nurturing them as individuals, not overshadowing them with her Hollywood persona. Despite her busy schedule, she made time for her kids, teaching them values that were drawn partly from her own upbringing in Phoenix and partly from her wide-ranging experiences in show business. She wanted them to see that while fame can be exciting, it's family and personal integrity that are the ultimate bedrocks of a fulfilling life. Over time, she stepped up to be a vocal advocate for issues that mattered to her, such as equality for all, and she supported causes that address the needs of individuals struggling with substance abuse. Her story, after all, is one of second chances and the belief that people can transform their lives if they have the right support. By talking openly about her own recovery, she helped chip away at the stigma surrounding alcoholism and addiction. It's no small feat for a public figure, especially someone who spent years being idolized, to admit vulnerability. But Lynda embraced that vulnerability to bring hope to others, proving that sometimes real heroism is in the honesty of one's journey. Another fascinating chapter in Lynda Carter's story is the transgenerational impact of her portrayal as Wonder Woman. When the modern DC Extended Universe films featuring Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman were released, media outlets everywhere reached out to Lynda for her perspective. She was gracious and supportive, praising the updated version while reiterating her deep love for the character. She attended premieres, posing for photos that bridged the gap between the 1970s portrayal and the present. In many ways, her presence felt like a symbolic passing of the torch. Still, fans often remark that she'll forever be their first and foremost Wonder Woman, the one who defined the character for television audiences worldwide. This sense of loyalty and admiration is sustained through convention appearances and social media, where Lynda remains accessible and appreciative of the fan community. If we delve deeper into her cameo in Wonder Woman 1984, it was a cleverly orchestrated tribute to everything Lynda had contributed to the character's legacy. She appeared as Asteria, a golden-armored Amazon warrior from centuries past, and while her scene was brief, it captured the essence of the baton, passing from one generation of Wonder Woman to the next. Moviegoers who recognized her erupted with applause in theaters, a communal acknowledgement of the journey that started back in 1975. This cameo also served as a full-circle moment for Lynda, bringing her back into a modern portrayal of a character that she helped make famous. In post-release interviews, she expressed gratitude for being included, noting how meaningful it was to connect with fans who watched her decades ago and with younger audiences seeing her for the first time. Of course, beyond her association with the Wonder Woman mantle, Lynda Carter carved out a robust identity. She emerged as a singer who earned genuine respect in the jazz and big band communities. She developed a refined sense of comedic timing that landed her guest roles on various sitcoms and comedic sketches. As time went on, pop culture recognized her as an icon of both empowerment and glamour, bridging the gap between the 1970s era of television and today's more cinematic approach to superhero storytelling. She's done voice acting, philanthropic work, concert tours, cameo appearances, and more. Each new venture showed she had something valuable to offer, be it her heartfelt performances, her mentorship to younger entertainers, or simply her willingness to engage with fans on a personal level. Her philanthropic engagements often mirror the ideals embodied by Wonder Woman. She has participated in charity events that support women's shelters, cancer research, and addiction recovery programs. She has donated time and resources to help raise awareness, whether by hosting benefits or speaking publicly about her experiences. Many fans point out that the kindness and generosity they see on screen in her portrayal of Diana Prince is mirrored in how she interacts with others in real life. While no one is perfect, and Lynda herself is the first to admit she's had her flaws and failures, she has continuously aimed to grow from these experiences rather than allow them to define her negatively. One of the aspects that keeps her relevant is the ongoing conversation about female superheroes and role models in media. With the surge in popularity of female-led films and shows over the last decade, Lynda Carter's example has become increasingly significant. She broke ground at a time when strong female leads were relatively rare, especially in the superhero genre. Her Wonder Woman was independent, morally upright, and undeniably powerful, which inspired countless young viewers. Decades later, many of those viewers now champion female-led blockbuster films and highlight Lynda's influence as a stepping stone to what we see today. Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, the star and director of the modern Wonder Woman films, have frequently acknowledged how important Lynda's trailblazing role was in paving the way for their cinematic take on the character. Her portrayal demonstrated that audiences were ready, even back then, for a woman to stand at the center of a superhero story, capable, compassionate, and entirely worthy of the spotlight. As she moved into her 60s, Lynda remained radiant and engaged, often posting encouraging messages to fans on social media and sharing glimpses of her life with Robert Altman and their adult children. In early 2021, tragedy struck when her husband passed away. Lynda faced a devastating emotional loss, one that she spoke about publicly with a vulnerability that touched many. Despite this heartache, she leaned on the love of her family and the support of her global fan base. Fans from across the world reached out to offer condolences, sending letters, social media messages, and tributes, some referencing how she, as Wonder Woman, had been a source of inspiration during their own moments of personal struggle. This communal outpouring of love stood as a testament to the kind of profound connection she built over decades of sharing her talents and her spirit. Even while mourning, Lynda found ways to keep moving forward, focusing on projects that brought her some measure of healing and purpose. She has hinted at developing more music, possibly exploring new avenues in film or television, and continuing her philanthropic outreach. Whether she steps back into the DC universe or pursues original ventures, she does so with the weight of experience behind her. She has openly said that with age comes a deeper understanding of what matters in life, and she wants to continue delivering uplifting messages in whatever form she can, be that a new song, an on-screen cameo, or a public service announcement for a cause she believes in. Lynda Carter's life is a testament to grace, perseverance, and an enduring legacy that continues to inspire fans worldwide. From her unforgettable portrayal of Wonder Woman to her successes in music, theater, and personal advocacy, she has proven that true heroism exists both on and off the screen. If you enjoyed this tribute to Lynda Carter, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories about Hollywood's most iconic figures. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.